On the slate, we got a little bit of head coach debacle, dude. I mean, ever since this regular season ended and even during, this has just been a crazy transition, time in the NFL for the head coach position. So we're going to go ahead and, talk about that a little bit. We're going to go ahead and start off with your boys team, Fly Eagles Fly. Philadelphia Eagles officially hire Nick Sirianni as head coach. Yeah. Who? So... Hey. I mean, I was initially in favor of Josh McDaniels. I know a lot of people actually didn't like that, didn't like him as a candidate, but I did. I thought he was actually going to be able to go in there and, bring some culture with him and change that team up a bit. But, I mean, the Eagles front office told all head coach candidates that they intend to keep Wentz, and you're going to have to figure out the situation. So I think instead of, all this offseason so far, we've been talking about, they're shipping Wentz off to Indianapolis. He's going to go be with the Colts. Instead, they just brought the Colts to him, dude. I mean, Sirianni has ties with Frank Reich, obviously is attractive to the Eagles organization. And, I don't know who the fuck this guy is.
No, I mean, listen, he spent some years with the Chargers and the Chiefs,
He did help Philip Rivers a year.
Huh?
Yeah. So, I mean, sorry, it's cutting up a little bit there. My fault. But he led Philip Rivers to one of his best pass completion seasons he's ever had in Indianapolis. And he did a lot of work with Andrew Luck after that shoulder injury. So, I mean, we're kind of hoping he could come in there and just be whatever Carson Wentz needs him to be. That's the only reason in my head that they hired this guy. And, just looking at Philly as a, entire organization at this point still, I mean, they still have to hire a defensive coordinator, which is going to change a lot of shit. That's an important hire, as well as, if it seems like they're making all these moves to go forward with Carson Wentz, what did we just draft Jalen Hurts for then? What are we going to do with him?
Yeah, that's going to be a big decision they're going to have to make. And, my only thing with Sirianni here is dude's never called a play in his life. Obviously he was the offensive coordinator and being close to Frank Reich. So that was probably something, like you said, that was attractive to the Eagles, just because Frank Reich and Carson Wentz obviously were a great tandem together. But just being, an offensive coordinator who wasn't calling the plays and obviously being young. So, maybe they're thinking, one of these young guys, maybe this guy could be a McVay 2.0 or something like that. To me, this honestly just feels like, because I know they had a lot of interest in Bieniemy too. To me, this more or less, I'm not going to lie, I'm going to go ahead and take a stretch and a hot take. But to me, this just seems like a puppet coach decision where management is going to get really control things.
I think you're right. I think whoever they put in there is going to be a puppet. I mean, that front office, Jeff Lurie, Howie Roseman, they're just not going to loosen up their grip on anything.
Yeah, and like I said, that dude's going to walk through the door and obviously have a big decision to make of what's going on with Carson Wentz and Jalen Hurts. And the only reason I say that is obviously management attached themselves to Carson Wentz by signing that deal. So, yeah, the whole Jalen Hurts drafting process and whatnot is still a bit confusing. I don't know if, after Jalen Hurts, what he was able to show those couple of games down the stretch, I mean, I don't think he's going to want to sit on the bench. I wouldn't want to. I've proved to the league what I can do, which, he did look very, very good. So, if I'm Jalen Hurts, I don't know how I feel, but for Carson Wentz's sake, maybe it is. Maybe this is the guy that can come in and they can have a good year.
I hope so, brother. Really
my biggest thing is I just think they have way more problems to cover. Like I said, they have a cap space issue. They have a lot of older players on big contracts that they got to figure out. So I'm not sure what they do going forward, but I think this is all of management is going to just have their hands in the pot here. Sirianni's just going to be kind of standing there, but. Be a good hire. Do I think they'll win some football games? They'll turn it around? Sure. Like I said, a Super Bowl team anytime soon. I don't see that coming out of Philly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even going to argue with you on that. I don't think Sirianni is hire for a long term. I think they just needed someone now, and he filled that spot. So that'll be what it is, but whatever. We're going to go ahead and talk about Detroit a little bit. Hiring one of the most electric humans I have ever seen in a press conference in my entire life. Motor City, Dan Campbell, hired as head coach for the Detroit Lions. And, bro, just what an insane human that is.
Press conference is crazy.
Literally insane. I mean, it's pretty much viral at this point, but if you haven't seen it, go and check out his first press conference with him as the head coach. He's talking about how you're going to hit us. We're going to get up, chew off your kneecaps. Dude was going off, dude. He was giving them Friday Night Lights speech all up to Gaff, dude. But I mean, all I know is he could talk crazy like that, but he needs to bring a strong culture with him. And he seems like the type of guy that's going to do that.
Yeah, it definitely seems, especially being an ex-player, definitely got quote unquote some of that meathead personality. So,
That's instant credibility in the locker room. If you're an
maybe he can mimic a little bit of someone like a Vrabel or something who is able to do and build what he's built in Tennessee and whatnot. But I don't know, man. I just didn't get good vibes from that press conference, dude. I don't know what the fuck he was talking about. That didn't hype me up at all. I don't know how the players might have felt, but this is kind of another guy who, I mean,
like what? Like what was he talking about?
I don't know. That was absolutely insane. I'm not sure what was going through his head. First day of the job, you walk in the door and you give a speech like that. I'm not sure. And to me, dude, that seems like none of that was written down, bro. He was just going
off the dome, bro.
He was freestyling for sure. But my only thing with the Dan Campbell is, like you said, all those intangibles I think are great, but I just think there were probably some better from an experience wise. I mean, this dude obviously was just years and years of assistant to the assistant, and just kind of like the tight end coach and this and that. Dude's never really been in a coordinator position. So my thing is, just from his resume style, I'm not really sure where the hire came from. I just believe there were better candidates on the thing. But like you said, if the dude has the energy, and if they win some football games in Detroit, I mean, that dude can become a legend. A couple 9-7 seasons. If he can turn around, they can turn it around. But Detroit is another one where the 53-man roster there's some shit to figure out there in Detroit. So, their head coaching, they obviously got that filled, but Detroit's, I think, has a long, long way to go before they start winning some football games. So hopefully Dan Snyder, they can rip off some kneecaps. Hopefully win some football games, man. Like I'm saying, I don't really get the hire. I'm not the biggest fan just from a resume standpoint, but he's been around some teams and been around some coaches. So that's probably where the decision came from. And we're going to see about going forward. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Detroit's just low-key a mess. I don't know if they got better with hiring Dan Campbell, but they obviously like something in the guy. So we'll see about that going forward. And then real quick, I just want to talk about, I just mentioned his name, Eric Bieniemy. We obviously haven't seen anyone, pick him up. I know he's probably been the hottest coaching name in Kansas City, or probably been one of the hottest coaching candidates in the league the past 2 years. And I know they're obviously still on a playoff run and whatnot, so maybe he's not able to go do some of the interviews and stuff that he would like to, because I know the Eagles, I think, said that they had him on the top of their list as far as wanting to bring him in. But it's kind of the same boat where, just being an offensive coordinator, and still not calling plays, that's obviously probably a knock on why he hasn't gotten hired yet. But I would think looking over something like that compared to Sirianni, just being around Andy Reid and seeing, a relationship between a coach and a quarterback. And obviously they have had Patrick Mahomes. So like I said, I know the Eagles had him at the top of their list, but I'm not sure. Like I said, we're seeing guys get hired that were offensive coordinators and whatnot that have never really called plays and whatnot.
And so let me just speak to that point real quick. Going back to Detroit with Dan Campbell, I mean, he came right in and started making changes immediately. I mean, the front office came out and said that he has a 50% say in all roster decisions. So, I mean, that's huge. And like you said, for never really being that guy for another team, like that's a lot of responsibility just to give to someone. So he came in, he hired a brand new D-line coach. He's expected to get a new DB coach as well. And he added a new kicker to the roster. So let me ask you another question. When you think of Detroit, you think of Matt Stafford, you think of Megatron, you think of Matt Prater, bro. So, I mean, Prater is expected to go into free agency, but wants to sign back with Detroit. I mean, that's not a good look to come into a place and get rid of a franchise player like that.
Yeah, that dude's a legend, bro.
I mean, that's a whole nother thing. I don't know if he signed the kicker to replace him. This is all speculation, obviously.
He only has one kicker, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
You don't have two kickers on the roster.
Like, I don't know how you get rid of Matt Prater. I mean, he missed 3 extra points this year, not field goals. So, I mean, I know he is on the back end of his career, but he's still trying to kick. And it's like, I don't know. That's the only thing with Dan Campbell. I'm like, that's kind of like a decision right off the bat where it's like, I don't know if they really needed that.
Yeah, no, I think he's out in a year, honestly. I think the Lions go 2-14, 3-13, dude. They're not going to be a good football team. Just I don't think he's the guy. Like you said, the energy and things are one thing, but
Kenny Golladay, DeAndre Swift. I mean, they got young talent on that team.
He's going to be a free agent. Like I said, so is Marvin Jones. That's their number 1 and 2 receiver. So, I mean, if they look to bring him back, that'd be awesome. But like I said, they're going to have a quarterback decision to make. I think personally, for both sakes, Matt Stafford needs to move on and the Detroit Lions need to move on because, like I said, they're just going to be a mediocre football team, I think, going forward. So I don't know. They signed him for 5-6 years. Maybe give him a couple to turn it around, but I'm not buying it. I'm not liking the vibe. To be a rookie head coach that's never been that guy like that, to have that much responsibility, that's either you're going to excel or you're going to really crumble under the
pressure. They're going to knock us down, bro. We're going to get back.
Yeah, they're going to get back up. Your kneecaps in Detroit because they're coming for it, bro. They coming for it.
All right. I mean, yeah, whatever. It is what it is. Excited to see what happens in the future over there. So, you know, we'll just let it be right there with it. Dan Campbell in the city.